years and actually constructing budgets, performance projections, not only as a consultant and a coach, but also as an operator of a real estate office, an operator of a real estate region, a GM over a multi-state organization. There are only 3 critical areas that you must be obsessed with to grow your business. The unfortunate thing is that most people are distracted by the INFO-Tainer coaches or self-proclaimed gurus that have either, gave it a whirl, tried to run a team, or gave it a whirl and they were a branch manager for a little while, but never delivered a measured results, or the compilers of other people's information and then taking it and great for them and passing it out to people. But I got news for you. Running an organization is not that simple. You can't just lean on theory. You've got to get down to a granular level. You have to have been an operator. And the unfortunate thing really, what happens is that what's being delivered to people right now is what sells, what sounds good, but only to leave many people stuck. And how do I know this? Because many of the people that are stuck, that have followed the other theory, end up coming to me. And what I want to do is I want to unpack and deliver to you what it takes to grow a business. It's about a week away from my event, and whoops, I've got 109 people coming, and I said that we'd always keep it at 100, and 109 is the absolute max. I mean, I want to keep it at a small group, but I'll tell you something. If you look at the roster of folks that are coming in, first thing I'll tell you is they're not coming because of me. They're coming because of the community, and I'll unpack that for you later because there's a purpose in that. But here's the one thing that they all recognize, and the one thing that probably won't be discussed in 2 days with multi-billion-dollar brokerages and some of the top teams in the world. They're not going to talk about all the tools and the next new trick that's out there to help them sell $1 bajillion worth of real estate. Here's what they know. They understand they're not in the real estate business. They understand that they're in the human resource business. They're in the human experience business. That they don't attract people to a model. They attract people to a split. And I'll argue that with anyone, anywhere. Line them up for me. Because if there was one model that was better than everything, they would have put everyone out of business. Number 2, anyone that's on your team or anyone that's in your brokerage, they can all go get a better deal. How come they haven't gone out and got a better deal? It's because of the experience that they're having. See, here's the deal. You can have all the tools and all the tricks and all these wonderful things around you, but if you don't have the people, you lose. And if you don't keep the people, you lose. And if you don't inspire growth out of the people, you lose. I got news for you. And you know what? That's what this group of 100 people, of CEOs, of the top teams in the world, of the top brokerages recognize. And they're getting massive results. Massive. So what I want to share with you are the 3 silos that the elite are obsessed with, the 3 silos that you as a leader need to be obsessed with. But the first thing that you need to do if you're going to be a leader, you've got to live in personal responsibility. You can no longer, if you're truly a leader, you can't be obsessed with the extrinsic things that are going on. Oh, well, it's the market. Oh, it's their split. Oh, we're different here. It's a bunch of crap. That's not a leader. The leaders that I work with, they're in horrible economies and they're breaking records and they're surpassing people in epic economies. But I'll save that one for another video. Here are the 3 silos you need to be focused on, okay? Number 1, yeah, Mark, see, it's about lunchtime for me. It's 3 a.m. here in Las Vegas, baby. First call is coming up. Oh, it's 4 a.m. I tried to make it sound better than it was. I was in the gym at 3 a.m. So here's what I've watched happen, okay, to prove this to you. Personally, doing it myself, but watch this. An organization that one year, a group of people that weren't on their roster, a team. The next year, people that weren't on the roster contributed $3.2 million in GCI to the team. Let me say it again. People that weren't on a team, not a big brokerage, not a big company, okay? People that weren't on the roster 1 year, the next year contributed 3.2 million in GCI. Now let's do a little bit of math, further math here. They didn't buy more leads. They didn't buy some new tricky magic thing that's gonna make them sell $1 bajillion worth of real estate, okay? 3.2 million GCI. Now, if you do the typical math of a real estate team, 50-50, that's 1.6 million retained company dollar, retained after paying the agent. That's silo number one, recruiting. Who wakes up in your organization every single day and owns recruiting, like owns it, is obsessed with it, and is measured with it, and is building their skill sets, and is mastering it? Because guess who comes to me? All the people that listen to the INFO-Tainer and the guru that says to them, oh, keep it small and have an elite group of performers. Okay, that's really good. And what happens when the person that does 30, 40, 50 transactions leaves tomorrow? You just go to Walmart or you go to Home Depot and you just grab someone and, oh, let's plug you right in. You'll do 30 transactions tomorrow. Horrible advice, but it's normal because they haven't been in the trenches and done it. Okay? Don't be misled. That's number one. Number two, I've watched hundreds of millions of dollars walk out the door in a year. Looking at the number of agents that may have left, hundreds of millions left an organization. Retention. You must be obsessed. Who owns retention on a daily basis? Who is constantly creating the psychological and emotional bonds? Who is making people feel that they belong? Who is publicly acknowledging them? Who's connected with the true reason that people come to work? You can't just grind calls out of people. You just can't grind activities out of people. You've got to connect at a deep level and find out not their why. The why is too big. That's another thing. You need a bigger why. You didn't get the listing because your why isn't big enough. You didn't sell enough houses because your why. No, your why is too big. Your why then again goes against human behavior. Okay? Fear and overwhelm are the number one and number two things that stop people from taking action. On a side note, here's what you need to get people focused on is their what. But who is? Number two, who's focused? Who's obsessed? Who owns agent retention? And how are you measuring it? And what is your agent retention system? Oh, we do a little potluck once a month, or oh, we have an agent social event once a month. That's not enough. Agent retention is a science and an art. Human behavior, leading human beings is a science and an art. Who's mastering that? That's the number two silo that the elite leaders are focused in. People wonder why a team goes from 64 million to 127 million. You know what that leader did? You know what those leaders did? They focused on the humans. They didn't go buy a bunch more leads. They focused on human beings. They focused on retaining them. They focused on the experience they're creating. Because people join or leave an experience, okay? They join or leave an experience. Number three, productivity. See, I've yet to see some new training program, some new information inspire productivity of agents. We're going to change our training calendar. It's BS. It's just a mask. See, information does not move a thought to an action. Let me say it again. More information doesn't move a thought to an action. Now, if you're a true leader, what true leaders do, true leaders facilitate people into action. You don't make people do things. You can't make people do things. People are not inspired by your to-do list. There's a process of self-discovery that has to take place, okay? You know, when's the last time you told someone to do something and they did it? Like 1%, and they're the 1%ers, okay? Unfortunately, if you're a leader, you don't have the 1%ers on your team. And let me go back to the other subject, okay? If you do have 1%ers, they're gonna leave you too, because they're an entrepreneur and they're inspired by the experience you've helped them create, and they want to go do what you've done. And that's something you should celebrate. But again, you've got to keep recruiting. So let's talk about your training program. Oh my gosh, the calendar. It's like people fill a calendar. I laugh at it. You know what I do with most, if not all, of my clients that perform at elite levels? I reduce the amount of training. You're overtraining your people. You're absolutely overtraining your people. See, the number one thing that moves people from a thought to an action is accountability. Now let's break down what accountability is. Here's the unfortunate thing is most all of us have been raised on guilt. Okay? Our experience of accountability has been judgment. It's been condemnation. We use the word why. Why didn't you do it? I mean, that right there, look at the vocabulary of leadership. Did you get the listing? No. Why? Did you make the calls? Why? Why? Guess what you're doing? You're immediately moving someone into defense mode. Now, how productive is someone when they're in defense mode? See, the elite leaders understand, the big business leaders understand this. They understand that I'm in the human resource, I'm in the human experience business. They understand that I've got to grow my emotional maturity and my emotional intelligence constantly. I can show you the direct correlation with the business growth of organizations where a leader is on a constant trajectory of not more leads, not new software. They're on a constant trajectory of growing their emotional intelligence. They're constantly growing their emotional maturity. See, here's what you've got to do. Number one, when you tell someone what to do, you have a 99% chance of failure. Because guess what? They don't own it. They don't own it. It's yours. Ownership is everything. So that's number one. What you've got to do is you've got to find out what they want to experience outside of the business. See, real estate isn't who they are. It's what they do on a daily basis to create the experiences they want in their life. So that's that emotional part to it, right? You can't just grind calls out of people. You can't just grind videos out of people. You just can't grind open houses. Always in your conversations, you got to tie the two together. So in looking at driving productivity, what is it you want to experience? Not what's your big why. It's so ridiculous. But you buy it. It sells. No, what? What's one thing you want to have take place in your life that hasn't happened? What's one small thing? See, here's the thing I want you to remember in leadership. Here's your job. Get someone to make a micro commitment. Have it be short, a short deadline, and measure it with accountability the right way. Observing or noticing without judgment, with a right line of questioning that excludes why. Okay? They keep the commitment. When someone keeps a micro commitment, they get a victory. When someone gets a victory, they have confidence. When someone gets confidence, they have momentum. Now here's the piece that leaders really truly miss. Is they try to get more out of them or acknowledge them more. No, you know what you do? You challenge them more. You know how you challenge people to be more productive, to stay in momentum? You ask them who they're going to help and now who they're going to bring along. See, that's what sophisticated leaders do. That's what true leaders do. They understand the progression of productivity. They understand how to move someone from where they're at to where they want to be, okay? They also understand when someone's stuck, it's not about them not making enough calls. It's not about them not doing enough open houses. It's about unpacking what's underneath it, an experience they've had in the past, okay? That paralyzes them. It's something that has to do with self-confidence that the great leaders can unpack, okay? See, great leaders give other people a borrowed belief. They believe in someone until the point that that person believes in themselves while holding them accountable. So your new training program ain't gonna work. Well, it'll work, you'll stay flat. You've got to hold your people accountable. Your people have to make commitments. They have to declare them publicly. They have to have a deadline. You have to open. See, here's the mistake leaders will make. They'll ask people to do something or challenge people to do something. See, that's called opening a loop. But the challenge is they don't close the loop. They don't close the loop. And see, closing the loop is coming back around. What do you want to commit to? I'm going to help you right here. I'm going to give you the dialogue, okay? What do you want to commit to? I want to commit to this. Awesome. What's that going to do for you personally? What was your income you wanted? I wanted this income. And what was that going to do for you personally? Okay? It was going to do this for me personally. Okay, so let's go back down to what you committed to. Will the amount of calls you're going to make, will the videos that you're going to do, will the emails you're going to send, the text messages, will those deliver the results you want to get you the things you want personally? Okay, it's a holistic approach. Leadership is a holistic approach. It's not just sell a house. Okay, well, no, it's probably not. Okay, so based on what you know, okay, then how many calls should you make? See, the mistake right there most leaders make is they give the answer because it's this unconscious human need of validation. Leaders, it's my responsibility to give the answer. You know what? When you give people the answer, you're an answer giver. You're not a leader. When you give people the answer, you're a helper. You're not a leader. That's an administrative role. And that's another reason you're stuck. You got to allow people to self-discover, okay? So you stop validating yourself by giving people the answer. That's not helping their growth. See, the number one thing that you've got to develop in people is not how to handle objection, not how to do a listing presentation, not how to do a buyer presentation. The number one skill set you need to help people develop is the power of thought. The power of thought. See, what happens is in this condition where we're always giving answers or we're telling, if we're always giving answers, we're creating dependent agents. That person will never experience their potential. Okay? If we're always telling people, we're creating independent agents. Well, people tell me, it's great, my agents are independent. That's a problem. They have no connection to you. See, that independence, they feel top down. You're top down. Okay? See, what you want is interdependence. There's a facilitation in it. So you've got to build a bridge. You can't just tell people to do things. You've got to build a bridge. What do you want to experience personally? What's one thing right now you want to experience? Not a big why. You're setting them up for failure. You didn't get it because your why isn't big enough. So ridiculous, but it sells. I'm not into shit that sells. I'm into shit that gets results. And that's the reason we put people in the room that gets results. Because you know what? They're about the truth. See, all this is about the relentless pursuit of the truth. It's not about being polarizing. It's about being in the trenches, experiencing it, and then taking it from the trenches and transferring to other people that are experiencing it. And voila, they're having massive growth, okay? So the bottom line is this. People must make a specific, measurable, actual commitment. Once you give it to them, you lose 99% of the time. They don't own it. So you've got to build a bridge from the activities to what they want to experience and have them back their way in to a commitment. Let me say it again. Have them back their way into a commitment that they declare to you. With a deadline, you hold them accountable. Now there's ownership, okay? Now there's ownership. And the key piece, which I'm not going to unpack all here, you just need to invest in yourself someday and come to one of our little masterminds. Actually, I got a little something I'm going to share with you that you can download that will be helpful. But then you've got to go through a self-discovery process of asking the right questions, okay, that allows someone to self-discover instead of putting them in defense mode. Because when you put someone in defense mode, here's what you're invoking: resistance, fear. And the next place people go to is they go to self-preservation. So let me ask you this. How productive is the person that's stuck in self-preservation? How many risks is the person going to take that's in self-preservation? How often is someone going to step outside of their comfort zone and do something uncomfortable in self-preservation? Because what takes over with a human being is that need to have approval and to have the acceptance of the leader. And so they're just going to give answers and let you hear what you want to hear. But you want to know what? They're not inspired. Oh, there you go. My computer, I guess, was working as a light for me. A backlight. Anyways, I just want to let you know, it's really simple. Stop buying into the INFO-Tainers. Stop buying into the wannabes. And I listen, I'm not the only one out there that has it from a granular level, but pay attention to what the truth is. Because I got news for you. Do the math. It's people. Take your people away right now. What's going to happen? Okay? It's all about people. And the three silos you must be obsessed with. And someone's got to own, and someone's got to be measured on it, and someone's got to master every day is recruiting. Number one, recruiting. Who owns it? Number two, retention. Who owns it? And number three, accountability. Accountability. Who's the person that can show the highest form of love, accountability the right way. And let me articulate that for you. Think about this. You buy a new outfit, you buy a new car, you get a new hairdo, you're doing something different. Guess what you do? You go to the person that you have a highest level of intimacy with, and that includes friends. I don't mean physical, romantic intimacy. Someone you trust, safety is intimacy, okay? And you ask them for their feedback. It's accountability, because they'll tell you the truth. They will tell you the truth. But yet if a stranger comes and says that they're a dick, they judge you, okay? See, accountability truly is the highest form of love we can show someone or that we can get. And I know because I pay a lot of money for it personally with my coaches. And a lot of people that are watching this video pay a lot of money for that too, to check in, okay? So all this other stuff, it's a distraction. Because my people, they keep bringing on the people, they keep retaining the people that are obsessed with an experience for the people, okay? And drive productivity not through some new tricky training or some recycled training, but through allowing human beings to decide what they want to have for them personally and then connect it back to activities. I got news for you. The committed human being with zero skills that has activities connected to something that triggers their emotions, they're going to smoke the person with the best skills and the best tools all day long. Recruit, train the right way, and retain is the profit game. Now, one of the things I'll share with you here, I've got a free 3-part series, 3 secrets to profits.com. 3 spelled out secrets to profits.com. I'm not selling you anything on it. It's a 3-part little short video series, 5 to 7 minute videos. The first video is recruiting. The second video is the principles of retention. And the third video is the principles of training that works. Not information, but inspiration that moves people into action. I'm gonna remind you this. Your new training, your new incentive, all that's not going to move people. That's temporary. See, that's the reason businesses don't grow. Sure, you get this boost. Oh, we've got an incentive, or what are you gonna do for me? Man, if you're dependent on incentives, you're not a leader. You're just not, okay? If you're dependent on growing your person, your being, and facilitating the growth of other human beings, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna win. The economy won't matter, the splits won't matter, the fees won't matter, the pressures won't matter, none of it will matter. It doesn't matter, okay? Because you're in the human experience business. Humans win. They did 31 years ago when I got in real estate. They still do today. I don't care that you've got all these outside forces. Go talk to the most elite broker owner managers in the world. Go talk to the most elite, okay, team leaders in the world. I bet you the conversation is about people. Have an epic day. Serve people.